Oh yeah guys, how's it going? Wanted to make a hunting video on how to take down Barroth. And first things first again, weapons and armor. I'm going to use a rarity, what is this, rarity 3 fire dual blades. Because basically Barroth is I'll show you in the notes. His weaknesses and resistances are a little weird. So I'm going to try a fire weapon. I think that's a good idea. You can see in the right side, when he's covered in mud, he's weak to water. But when he's not covered in mud, he's weak to fire and practically resistant to water. So I feel like you're going to get the mud off of him eventually, and then you're going to want a fire weapon rather than a water weapon. So that's kind of the way I look at it anyway. You always want to eat as well. I just go for whatever has the highest attack. Like this has attack up large, and it'll add 40 points of health. 40 points of health to my maximum health bar. Let's do that real quick. Okay. And then you're pretty much ready to go out and hunt. I want to go over water moss and knollberry locations as well. This is leading me that way, but I want to go this way. So since I'm not carrying a water weapon, I want to use water moss to help me get the mud off of him. You can kind of see it on the map. Water moss is the 3 little green, light green balls, and it grows near water. So here's one right here, and there's a lot in this area. So this is a pretty good area to fight him in, but he's not here. So that gave me 7 puddle pods, which are just basically slinger ammo that fires water. So if you just unload on his mud spots with that, it'll help you wash them off, and then he'll be weak to fire. And this is a great area right here to get, I think I just saw him. This is a great area here to get knollberries. Barroth inflicts water blight, which will mess up your stamina regeneration. It'll make it harder to keep a full bar of stamina against him. And there's like 5 knollberry plants right here, so that'll give you a full stack of 10. I was already carrying 5, so I could only harvest about 3. I feel like those are kind of some good foraging tips right there for the fight against Barroth. I think oh nope, this is Jayura Totus. That was not Barroth. I'm gonna... And that water moss idea or tip, I mean that works on Jayura Totus too, that mudfish we just saw. You can use those to help him. He has similar resistances, but he's weak to thunder once the mud is washed off. But that is not who I am here to hunt. So I'm going to run up to Barroth and we'll start the hunt. Okay, so he gave me the runaround, but I'm coming up on him now. Another useful thing about the water moss is I can kind of get his attention with it. Okay, that was one shot. This is part broken. That was only one... Oh shoot, I hit the wrong guy. That was only one pod to wash the mud off right there. I didn't think they were that effective. Doesn't look like you can lock on his tail. You can lock onto his main body and his head. So there you go. I mean, just carry a fire weapon. Don't even waste your time with water. This Kuliyaku is gonna get... Oh geez, and here comes the Jayura Totus. We've got everybody here. This is just great. If you have problems like this with multiple monsters getting in your way, I mean sometimes they help you with the turf wars. They'll damage the monster you're hunting. But right there, Barroth just damaged the big mudfish there, so it's not really helping me. Maybe he scared him off. In situations like this, I carry dung pods, which can be helpful to... What they do is they try to make the monster go away. I think that worked. And then you can get back to hunting your monster. So Barroth's weak in his hands and his tail. Hands are rarely exposed. With a quick weapon like dual blades, you can kind of get in there and hit him. Oh. It's kind of hard not to hit his head. His head is very well armored. His legs don't really take much damage. And he's limping already. Is this just a hunt quest? Oh, crying. I mean, those are the basic tips. You gotta just kind of get used to his moves, and if you knock off the mud, he'll run back in here and he'll start mudding up again. Good place to go for a mount on him, though. I think he went back to sleep. He had pretty low health. Oh. It's a hard place to plant a trap. All the mud around the shock trap wasn't working. This was a very quick hunt, though. It was a 15-minute time limit, so kind of had to capture him there. But yeah, I mean, I think those are the main tips. The biggest thing I can think of is the water pod. That's just so effective at washing off the mud, and then you can just carry a fire weapon, which he'll be weak to the entire hunt, rather than a water weapon that he's only weak to when he has mud on him. And I mean, he'll put the mud back on his body like he did right there at the end, but it's still, he's not going to have mud on him the entire quest. So I really feel like fire weapons are probably the better weapon to use, but I mean, you could definitely hunt him with a water weapon still. But yeah, I mean, those are the main tips about Barroth: the water moss, and grab the knoll berries if he's giving you water blight. Your stamina bar will turn blue when that happens, and that's how you'll know that's going on. But I hope that's helpful to you. Just a quick little tip guide on Barroth, and until next time, happy hunting.